Well, I think in Ukraine, which it's been going on just a tiny bit longer, well, not counting the constant war in Gaza, but in terms of Ukraine, I mean, I think recently General Zaluzhny, the Ukrainian top guy, had a very serious assessment of what's happening, and they don't have much of an army. They're not able to take back the Russian held territory, which is also filled with Russian-speaking people who have kind of voted to be under the Russian security network. They don't have the ability to take them back. The United States we don't have the ability to, we've offered billions of dollars of aid, some of it very random, it seems, but we don't have the ability to help Ukraine win that war. We have no intention, there's no American support to put troops on the ground. And what would that be for anyway? I mean, this war in Ukraine's been going on since before 2014, and this is a continuation of it. And I think it's going to end. I think it's already ended for all intents and purposes. I think what we're looking at is what will the treaty of peace or the documentation of peace look like. I see the war in Ukraine as a practical resource thing. It's a resource grab, you could say, from both sides, but certainly the closure of it, the peace that the Ukrainians need and deserve, that is in the way of other people. I think for a long time it's been seen as in the way of other people making money and making bank, not so much money bank, but military prestige. This is a test of NATO, which of course NATO has failed. So I think there's a lot that people say we have to win this, but really there's no true commitment to win it, and there's no winning it. It was wrong from the very beginning. Anyway, I think it's nearly over because of the resource flow that is not going to be able to go in there. And also it's put Europe and NATO countries, the United States, in a bad readiness position. If you think that people should have militaries that can defend themselves, we don't have that. We have a very offensive military, and much of the depth of logistics resources that the NATO countries had has been wasted. And maybe they did that on purpose. They sent older materials so it could get blown up. Anyway, disregard for the environment. There's all kinds of reasons that I hate that war, and I think it is over. Now, in terms of what's happening in Gaza, I have a different view in the sense of course, it's a smaller geography. But I just basically take Netanyahu and the ruling political parties in Israel at their word. And I think they have said what they intend to do in Gaza, and they've already planted the Israeli flag on the beach, and they're going to continue to do that. And I think they want, I'm sorry, this is my opinion, but I think they want all the Palestinians out of there and everybody else out of there. And they want to settle the whole property and not have a southern border that is populated by people that they don't like. And I think they're going to do that. And I don't know if the events of October 7th were, they initially from the very beginning, and even now we say October 7th, that was Israel's 9/11. Well, we have many questions about, the readiness that our own country had during 9/11. I mean, we have, in fact, some of the Sam Adams whistleblowers who have won the award long before I ever did, were people that spoke out about warnings that were ignored prior to 9/11, warnings that our own intelligence community and FBI had that were ignored by our government, almost in order to let it happen so we would have that next Pearl Harbor, so that Americans would back the government's plan to, I don't know, whatever it wanted to do. I guess it wanted to go into Iraq and the Middle East, and it did all those things. It all worked out just fine. And I think I don't have the insight, of course, into October 7th, but the Israelis themselves are asking these questions, much as we asked the questions on 9/11. Why did our procedures not work? Why were we so vulnerable to such an insane attack when we're the most powerful military in the world? Here you have Israel, the most powerful military in the region. How could they have left their borders open? How could they be so unprepared and not seeing it? So the Israelis themselves are asking this question. And I am very cynical when it comes to politicians. And I think this is Netanyahu's really only hope to stay out of prison. He needed to be seen as a guy who did something. And what is he going to do? Well, the right parties in Israel want him to eliminate the Palestinian problem in Gaza. And I think it's a small geographic area. and they get the top cover from American politicians right now. I don't know how long that will last, but I think that's their intention. We are on opposite sides. We're kind of like we're kind of like taking the Russian role in Ukraine. We don't like the Russian role when it went into Ukraine to, according to their special military operation, to protect Russian-speaking people on the east of Ukraine. We've got Israel going into Gaza. They're not protecting anybody, but we take their side on this time. So I think it shows the hypocrisy and the lack of moral principles that really guide our government today. And I think, JFK clearly was probably one of the last presidents that, sensed this and understood the possibilities, the bad possibilities of what our government would be capable of. He saw the seeds were already there. We were doing it in Vietnam then, and I think he was trying to stop that. But anyway, I've probably gone on too long. These are hard problems, but I think they do educate us as Americans as to what kind of government we have.